13.11 patch notes. You get a buff, Wisp. You get a buff, Wisp. You all get buff, Wisps. Did you all catch MSI? Huge congratulations to JDG for coming out on top. Riding the esports wave, we also have a skin line to celebrate last year's World Championship. DRX coming out of this patch with a special prestige skin for Aatrox, celebrate Kingan's dominating MVP performance. In other news, we also have some exciting changes coming this week, like Rell's mid-scope update, universal buffs sharing for junglers, some nerfs for Aphelios and Jinx, and quite a few follow-up changes to the mid-season update that came out in 13.10. Okay, Rell mid-scope. We think Rell's fantasy of being a mounted lancer on horseback who transformed into heavy infantry by literally metal bending her horse into armor is compelling and exciting, but unfortunately she hasn't fully lived up to that fantasy. Okay. Increase play pattern variance, give Rell more options in lane and team fights besides landing W, and make sure that while she's dismounted, there are useful things to do. Useful things she can do. Sand off some QL issues. We've heard some of your feedbacks on some of its more frustrating parts of Rell's kit, so we wanted to help alleviate some of them. We want to smooth out things like poor ward clearing, not being able to use E while alone, and Q having reduced power on subsequent enemies. Rell's new E should provide the giddy up she needs to charge down her enemies and proactively start fights. The extra range and attack speed all dismounted let her participate more in the fight. Adding a stun to her Q will let her have more varied combat patterns that's not just looking for engages with her W. She can now fish with Q and follow up with crash down if she lands it. With some new combos in her saddlebags, she should be feeling less binary and more flexible. So they increased her attack speed, lowered the attack speed growth, lowered her armor growth, lowered her magic resist growth, lowered her movement speed. Okay. Passive duration 4 to 5 seconds. Armor magic resist shred now is from 10% to 2.5%. Stacks on stacks. Armor magic resist shred now stacks up to 5 times per target. All of Rell's abilities will now also apply a stack of her passive. Minimum armor and magic resist steel 5 to 12 based on level is now 1.25 to 3 based on level. First, what's up? I'm reading the patch notes right now. Death-proof magnets. Rell keeps resist for a full duration of the passive buff, even if the target dies. So they removed, basically what they did here is they removed her old passive. Passive no longer deals bonus magic damage. Hitting a target no longer refreshes the passive duration on all stacks. Passive no longer applies to minions. So basically, they gave her passive a stacking portion now, instead of it just being like the straight up shred, and the passive lasts longer now. I actually played the new Rell like in the jungle. Felt like ass, not gonna lie. She's got shorter range. She's not as tanky because they took away a lot of her stats, and when she doesn't have her E, she's like a lot slower. It just felt like way slower and like clunky. They increased like all her cooldowns, and they gave her ratios, which is weird to compensate, but it just didn't make any sense. And they're trying to make her a jungler, which just didn't feel good. Her W, they gave her attack range and attack speed when she's dismounted, but to be honest, it just didn't feel like Rell when I played it. They made her shield smaller. They basically just made her less tanky, and as a compensation to it, they gave her more ability, more like variance with it, with how she can stun targets, but it just didn't feel good, in my opinion. The biggest thing is her E. Everything else is similar, but her E is what changed the most. Passive mounted alacrity. Rell gains 5 to 50 movement speed while mounted at levels 1 to 13, reduced by 50% in combat. So basically, you're supposed to use the E to get into combat. It's like a mini Shirelia's. They butchered our girl for real. Full tilt. Rell in an ally charge, gaining rampant movement speed, 15 to 25% over 3 seconds. This is doubled to 30 to 50% towards enemies or each other. Additionally, Rell's next attack or shattering strike explodes. They tried to give her damage too, just weird. Q base damage increased. Akali needed a buff. This is fine. Amumu W damage decrease. Amumu might be lonely in lore, but he hasn't been left out of the patch notes recently. Our 13.9 buffs went a bit overboard, specifically on the power of his early clear and skirmishing, so we're going to lower them back down a bit. Okay, makes sense. Aphelios has been pretty strong, so this nerf makes sense. Passive bonus AD from 5 to 30 to 4.5 to 27. I don't think this will move Aphelios' power at all. I think this is definitely big for Amumu because this is like you lose damage on every camp every time you clear. You're just losing damage in general. Make his clear much slower. Brilliant Soul, thank God. Another nerf to this champ. It's been broken for like since its rework. It's been broken, and they've just nerfed it every patch. Hope they get it. Mages as a whole got a small power increase from the changes in 13.10, including the already powerful ones. Our friendly space dragon was already sitting above the stars, so we have a few changes to bring him down to earth. Mana cost increase, magic damage per tick now has a lower ratio. Good, good, good. Azir, Q cooldown decrease, W summon range increase, AP ratio increase. I mean, no one plays Azir, so I guess he needed this buff. This helps with his trading in lane, 100%. I think this is mostly directed at his trading early, which is good for him. Ivern, Q fall adjusted, cast range increase. Now refunds cooldown when used on non-epic monsters. W adjusted. Now gives allies bonus on-hit damage. Vision from spawn duration increase. Brush despawn condition changed. E shield now refreshes if no enemies were hit by the detonation. Daisy stats adjusted. Damage increase. So this looks like a buff. Yes. Cast range increase. Q cooldown is now reduced. Nice, nice, nice. I didn't even know allies get on-hit damage from sitting in Ivern bushes. This is cool. So you just drop a bush on your AD carry and they just now do magic damage. Insane. Yeah, this is all gonna be really good for Ivern. Hopefully he doesn't get back in the meta. When Ivern's meta, it's kind of cancer. Jinx attack speed growth decrease. Good. Jinx has been strong. This is like the Callista change that they've been talking about. So they're increasing her base health, increasing her regeneration, increasing her regeneration growth, decreasing her AD, and decreasing her attack speed growth. So in Callista's passive, she dealt 90% of the total AD on hit. Now she deals 100% of the total AD on hit. Her Q now has increased AD ratio. Her Rend got lower cooldown, so she's gonna be able to trade more. And physical damage per stack is increased. The ratio got increased, but the base damage decreased. Okay. It looks like she's gonna be able to trade more with her Rin and her Q, because her Q got 80 buff and her Rin got lower cooldown. But overall, the damage is still gonna come out to be relatively the same as what people have been telling me, because the Rin lost so much damage, and she lost so much attack damage growth. But overall, it's buff because she also got the health and the health regeneration. Probably going to see her come back into the top lane, since she's going to be like a little bit more tanky and durable. Rek'Sai was one of the non-assassin champions that was bound to the old prowess claw and took a big hit in power with its removal. True. Rek'Sai, the only guaranteed way to get a knockup was using prowess claw, so losing that made her way weaker. We're taking this opportunity to shift Rek'Sai away from assassin burst builds, which her kit was never really made to support, and move her strength towards a more durable fighter with a chunkier passive heal and better feeling auto attacks. We're also including a few small quality of life buffs, which should make playing the queen feel more royal. Okay. Trumbull refresh rate 1.5 to 1 second. Heal with maximum fury 20 to 190 based on level to 15 plus 20 for every 3 levels. Plus 2% of max HP. So they're trying to make Rek'Sai focus on building HP. Q cooldown 4 seconds at all levels, 4 to 2 seconds based on rank. Buff duration 5 to 3 seconds. Hit and buff. Basic attacks now refresh the buff duration of Queen's Wrath. Not so fast. So Q's buff no longer ends prematurely if Rek'Sai is burrow for more than 1.5 seconds. Okay. So you can start your Q burrow and then use your Q when you unburrow, is what it looks like. And they're lowering the cooldown, so they want her to continue to auto with her Q. But it doesn't last as long, so you can't just like Q and hold your Q. Queen's Wrath, burrowed. Reveal duration increased. Okay, good. Unburrowed. Targeted range increased to match untargeted range. Okay. So that's gonna make Rek'Sai. It's gonna make Bruiser Rek'Sai way stronger than Assassin Rek'Sai. They're trying to move her away from the assassin builds. Renekton. E cooldown decreased, R cooldown decreased, magic damage increased. Renekton's been a bit weak in solo queue, feeling more like a plush than a terrifying butcher. So we're looking to decrease his E cooldown to bring the timing a bit closer to his other abilities. This will give Renekton more opportunities to engage and escape, and will make losing the Prowler's Claw active not feel as bad. So they're trying to buff all the Prowler's Claw bruisers. We're also looking to increase both power and uptime of his ultimate. Okay. E slice and dice. Cool. R Dominus, 120 seconds auto ranks to 120, 180 seconds. Mag damage per tick increased. Okay. W cooldown decreased, no longer decreases with rank. Twistfay has been drawing quite a few of the wrong cards recently. He could use the odds being a little bit more in his favor. Lowering the cooldown on his W should give him more opportunities to draw what he needs and a bit more pressure on his opponents early. Next, they're going to give Cyan a dash too. That'd be funny. So 6 seconds auto ranks. Okay. I guess they're trying to make him less vulnerable to assassins since assassins are so strong. TF's been struggling. Does that make sense? Artificer is currently the highest rate second item purchase for enchanters supports, which goes against our goal of promoting the support item diversity. We're turning down some numbers to keep it in line with staff flowing water to avoid one becoming clearly better than the other. Bonus attack speed decrease. The problem with this is that Ardent is a lot more useful in a lot more scenarios than staff flowing water. That's why they're never going to be equivalent in build rate. They need to rework staff, in my opinion. Duskblade buffs, which I'm excited for because I've been going Dusk on Samira. I've been telling people that like it's got a lot of potential. They've been writing me off, but now that it's buffed, everyone's like, oh, Duskblade Samira. Yeah, it's coming. It's here. Night Stalker bonus ability damage from 0 to 15% based on targets missing health to 0 to 20% based on targets missing health. Maximum bonus damage threshold 20% remaining health to 30%. So low key, it might have potential to kill tanks. I'm not even joking. Duskblade has been overshadowed by its popular sibling. Duskblade is meant to be a more damage-heavy counterpart to Ghostblade in longer fights with enemies getting low, but simply lacks the punch compared to the other options. With these changes, we're buffing the passive amp so that it's a more viable option. Cool. We're also looking at if the mythic passives are at a healthy place, but now we're staying with the small buffs to Duskblade and big nerfs to Ghostblade. Got it. So they're trying to make the lethality items more in line. Cool. I'm sad for the Helia nerfs. Yeah, but Helia was busted. Everyone's going it. They want to promote diversity, so any item that's being built significantly more than other items, they're gonna nerf. Echoes of Helia is too strong at healing. No way around it. We envision Echoes as an offensive enchanter item. Well, you failed at that. Excelled in skirmishes, but right now it's performing too well, especially when it comes to healing. Going forward, we'll be keeping an eye on this item's healing output, and we'll mainly focus on crafting and sports damage options. Passive healing per shard, 20 to 100, 20 to 80. Passive damage per shard, 30 to 200, 30 to 180. Cool. Gale Force. Despite popular opinions heading into this patch, it turns out that Gale Force is indeed strong. Even with the opportunity cost of Infinity Edge and Navori, we're walking back some of the preemptive buffs it got heading into 13.10. Swiftly targeting its strongest synergies in Yasuo and Yone. So ADCs get a nerf because Yasuo and Yone is OP, is basically what I'm getting from this. Active damage, 150-35 plus 250% crit chance to 150 to 350 plus 200% crit chance. They need to lower this crit chance modifier. That's the problem, because Yasuo and Yone get so much crit chance that they are getting an insane amount of bonus damage from Gale Force. Maximum execution damage going down. Good. Kraken Slayer. Crit marksmen are dealing too much magic damage in long engagement, so we're switching Kraken Slayer to deal physical damage instead of magic. Because champions all have more armor than magic resist, the necessities increasing its numbers just to keep its power neutral. In addition, we're looking to buff Kraken Slayer slightly. Now Kraken will deal more damage to minions in all contexts, and typically deal more damage to the champions after building some form of armor penetration. Otherwise, the numbers should be pretty similar against most targets. One final note, because more of its damage is coming from base damage, low AD builds like Rageblade on it builds are even more buffed here, where the item is severely underperforming. Okay, I get what it's saying. Okay, cool. So they gave Kraken more base damage because Rage Blade builds don't build much AD, so the ratio actually isn't helping them as much. So the base damage is actually a buff to the Rage Blade builds, which is cool because most Rage Blade builds aren't very strong right now, apart from Kog'Maw and Twitch. Moonstone Renewer is weaker compared to other support mythic items, so we want to bring it back in line. Okay, Chain Heal 20 to 35% to 20 to 40%. Single heal 15 to 25% to 15 to 30%. Cool. I don't care about these changes. The Warrior Quick Blades. Quick Blades has fallen pretty far behind its Crypt Brethren in recent times. The item doesn't need more ability haste than it already has. The overall marksman class is about dealing extra damage in the first place, so we're shifting some of its haste into attack damage. Thank God. No one needs this much haste. The haste was just overdue. It gave haste on mythic passive and haste on the actual item and haste on the passive. Like, no champion needs this much haste. It was actually useless. Now they're giving it more AD, which is good. The item recipe is changing from Caulfield's Pickaxe Cloak to Caulfield's BF Sword Cloak. Cool. Transcendence cooldown reduction 12% to 15%. Cool. And 5 AD. I hate how, like, they're not being very creative with these mythic passives. Like, they're just giving everything AD. Pretty boring. Runan's a bit overtuned, so they're lowering the on-it damage. Good. Shiv launched a bit underpowered. Its gold efficiency is at a reasonable spot, so we're amping it. I mean, the problem is you gave it an AP ratio, so only mages can build it. Energized damage from 60 to 170 to 80 to 190. Okay. Stormraiser came out mid-season gate swinging. Yeah, it's broken. Landing a bit too strong. It's overly gold efficient, and it's contributing a bit too much to burst. So they're lowering the AD. So they're just giving it less damage, okay? I wish they lowered the movement speed. The movement speed is fucking broken. Okay, we want Ghostblade to be the ideal item for roaming around the map, with a small bump in damage for one big initial burst. It's currently giving way too much damage way too often, so we're lowering the bonus lethality, okay? Less ability haste, bonus damage on stack, from 8 to 20 to 3 to 12. Distance per stack, 45 to 55. This equates to roughly 20% slower stack duration. Okay, cool. And then they obviously nerfed the Orin item as well. Buff sharing has been pretty similar since the dawn of League. You get your first 2 or 3 buffs, but then your mid laner and Assassin and ADC start thinking they deserve them. Can you believe them? The nerve of those laners. In its current state, there is pressure for junglers to give up their buffs to laners at their own expense, which also creates some social friction and coordination challenges. Our goal with the introduction of buff sharing is to reduce the feels bad moments when junglers have to give up their buffs. This should help junglers feel like they have control over their own jungle. Buff wisps. When a jungler kills red Brambleback or the blue sentinel, while their smite is fully upgraded, they receive the camp's buff, but in addition, a buff wisp will be dropped at the camp's spawn point. An ally can pick it up by walking within the wisp radius, within 1 minute of the camp dying before it disappears. Note, you do not need to smite the camp. You do not need to smite the camp anytime in order for the buff wisp to drop. So they're basically putting the Iron passive, where you share buffs on every camp. I wonder how that'll affect Ivern. Like, will he be able to give like 3 red buffs now? Or what? But I'm not a jungler. If a player that is not a jungler kills the red Brambleback or blue sentinel, but the jungler smite is fully upgraded, then the buff wisp will drop. Okay. ARM adjustments. Okay, continue. Bug fixes. Okay. Fix a bug. Fix an issue resulted in Whitson total cost being 100 gold more than intended. Fix a bug that caused Watchful Wardstone to not appear in your inventory. Fixed a bug that would cause A Souls or Shockwave to not appear if he was devoured by Tom Kinch. Fixed a bug where Draven's Q spinning axes critical strikes would do less damage if the attack was launched immediately after catching an axe. Fixed a bug that will cause a blue team's summoner spells to be inverted. Fixed a bug where Rell's walk animation would freeze. I've seen this before, it looks hella funny. Fixed a bug where Silas's R would sometimes become disabled if he died during the cast of Talia's R. Fixed a bug where Ivan's passive would sometimes drop 2 buff wisps instead of 1. Fixed a bug where Frozen Heart would sometimes generate monster aggro. Fixed a bug where Zoe could still use Prowler's Claw active with her W. Fixed bugs causing the announcer to announce that the turret plating would be falling soon. Fixed a bug that was causing fear jungle monsters to not behave as intended. Fixed a very rare bug that would cause select champions to stop rendering under very specific conditions. Fixed a bug that was causing Asol's E cooldown to be reduced by ultimate under effect. That's because it should actually be an ultimate, because it's OP. Fixed a bug that caused Vigilant Wardstone to be dropped infinite wards. Is being a little too vigilant. Fixed a bug where some abilities were causing Energize despite not being intended to. Fixed a bug where Shiv could damage allies after Renata R. Fixed a bug where Duskblade users could be hit with abilities while untargetable. Fixed a bug... I knew this was happening! This happened to me. Fixed a bug where Abyssal Mask could cause the opponent to not be able to trigger Rod of Ages effect. Skin bugs, okay. And upcoming skins got DRX coming out. Cool. Overall, I don't think that the ADC meta will change very much with these buffs. I think Jinx will be weaker, slightly. Aphelios like barely got hit. I think Duskblade ADCs will see their time this patch. So like I think Samira will be really good with Duskblade. I'm excited for it. Oh yeah, and the Navori changes will bring back like Nyla will be much stronger. Zaya will be much stronger, and I think that Rageblade ADCs will be way more OP as well.